let's move on now to we're at the midseason point here. So I figure we kind of throw up some candidates for offense and defensive rookie of the year. We each make our call for the halfway point here, who we would go with, Bucky. And when we look at the offensive rookie of the year candidates, we pulled out 4 to look at here. And the first couple here, Todd Gurley and Jameis Winston.
You know, Todd Gurley is everything that everyone thought he would be coming out of college. Outstanding player. Jameis Winston is really coming on like gangbusters the last couple weeks, eliminating the turnovers, finding a way to win games. I'm really impressed with what the young guys do.
And then we had a couple receivers here. Look, Amari Cooper's been doing his thing. Now we've seen Stephon Diggs come on, really come on for the Minnesota Vikings, give them a legitimate number 1 wide receiver for young quarterback there in Teddy Bridgewater. I think both these guys belong in that discussion. I think probably you'd say Gurley and Cooper are the big name guys, but the way Jameis has come on, and then Stephon Diggs, when you look at his numbers here, 25 catches, a couple touchdowns, averaging almost 17 yards a catch. He's kind of forced his way in the discussion as well.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs has definitely worked his way into the conversation because he's been a very, very dominant player.
Yeah, but I got to make my choice first here, Buck. I'm going to go Todd Gurley. And look, we just talked about the Rams and what their chances are going forward. He's made this team different. He's given them a physical presence, but also a home run hitter. I know Cooper's played more, but I would say Todd Gurley, the impact he's made in terms of forming a team. He has formed the identity of this Rams team. I would go with Todd Gurley, my midseason rookie of the year.
You know, I like what they've done with the Rams. I think Todd Gurley has given them identity, big-time playmaker, but a guy that has made a tremendous impact on the team. Amari Cooper with the Oakland Raiders. I know Derek Carr is getting a lot of attention, a lot of love, coming off a 300-yard game against the New York Jets, but Amari Cooper has kind of set the table for the passing game as a true number 1 receiver, being able to run every route in the book, vertical, intermediate, also making those catch-and-run plays where he can take it the distance. This guy is polished beyond his experience in the National Football League. Terrific player, terrific playmaker. I think he's worthy of being in that conversation with Todd Gurley.
Yeah, Gurley and Cooper, that's probably what it comes down to at the end of the season as well. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball, Buck. Look at a couple candidates here. We've got 4 candidates on the defensive side, starting with Marcus Peters and Eric Kendricks.
You know, Eric Kendricks is someone you have to be excited about, a guy that is man in the middle of the defense, can run around, fly around, make plays. That young defense in Minnesota is one of the best in the business. Mike Zimmer has to be excited about the development of his young guys. And Marcus Peters is a lockdown corner, a guy that is playing the way that he played at UW.
Yeah, speaking of UW, the final 2 candidates we had here in our final 4, look at Hau'oli Kikaha, a guy we talked about a lot leading up to the draft out of Washington. He's got 4 sacks already this year. And then Quan Alexander, young, talented linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has been outstanding as well.
No, he has been outstanding. Guy that is a high motor, high effort guy. You really have to like what he brings to the table. Excited to see what Jason Licht says about him when we have an opportunity to talk about it. But this is my guy. This is a guy that I've been on since the draft process. Marcus Peters, I believed in his talent in terms of the way that he could play a versatile style at UW. Then he comes into the National Football League, continues to do it. Disciplined with his eyes and feet, can press, can play off, is aggressive in terms of making plays on the ball. Every time I pop on the tape, I see a young player getting better and better. I think it's only a matter of time before he becomes an all-pro at the position. This is a terrific player, a guy that has really improved under the tutelage of Emmett Thomas and Aaron Harris down in Kansas.
I'll give you credit, too, because Bucky's not making that up. He jumped on that bandwagon very early in the draft process. I'm going to go, though, to Tampa Bay and go with Quan Alexander as my choice. Look at what he did last week against the Atlanta Falcons was outstanding, but he's been doing this all year long. The speed, the range to make plays sideline to sideline. He's an effort player, the hustle, be able to yank the ball out of Julio Jones, force a turnover there. The numbers are excellent, but I think just the kind of the run and hit style that he plays, Quan Alexander has made a big impact for a Tampa defense. After week 1, we were worried about what the Tennessee Titans did against them.
Yeah.
But man, Buck, they really, really got things turned around. I give Quan Alexander and this defensive side of the ball a lot of credit.
No, they're playing well. Like, they've had a couple slip-ups where they messed up against the Washington Redskins, didn't perform well against the Tennessee Titans, but against the Atlanta Falcons, they were able to lock them down. Quan Alexander is a guy that is all over the field. When you watched him at LSU, he was the guy that was running around like a Tasmanian devil, continues to be that guy, but playing in a very disciplined fashion for Lovie Smith.
Yeah, so those are our midseason defensive rookies of the year. You went with Marcus Peters, I went with Quan Alexander on the defensive side of the ball. And speaking of Quan Alexander, we do have his general manager, Jason Licht, that's going to join us here on Move the Sticks. But before we get to Jason, I want to play a little audio clip. You can listen to what took place in the locker room after that Tampa win, because Quan Alexander a really, really sad situation. His brother had passed away, was killed a couple days before this game. And after the game in the locker room, the Bucs under Lovie Smith and one of their leaders really had some nice things to say about what Quan Alexander gave this football team.
Man, for all of us, we're all fighting for different reasons. Got one of our own. First off, Logan, Macon, come up real quick here.
What this guy here did today, guys, that's something special. To play under those circumstances, my hat's off. And to play the way you did, 2 turnovers. Man, I got a lot of respect for what you did today.
We all do. Hey guys, remember this feeling, man. Remember this feeling. This is the way it's supposed to be after every game. We're going to start streaking now. Another big one coming up next week. All right?
That's the commitment we need from everyone.
One last time, man. Let's go. Bucks on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Well, it was a pretty powerful scene there in the locker room after that game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we have a general manager, Jason Licht, with us. Jason, I know you were in that locker room after the game. Just how emotional was that whole scene there with Quan Alexander and the team?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm listening to it here on this end, and it gives me chills again. You know, we obviously it's a really sad situation for Quan and his family, to say the least. But you know, talk about a guy that can deal with adversity. We have a few of those guys that are, and rookies too, that are able to deal with adversity and play through it. But we're going to let him cope with it right now. But just the way that our team surrounded him, and with leaders like Logan, there's probably no more respected person in our locker room than Logan. And just the way that the team is bringing him in, and he knows that everybody's got his back. So it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see how this team's growing and coming together.
No, I mean, it's been fantastic to see the team come together, but Quan's impact on your defense, is that something that you saw potentially from him when you scouted him at LSU? Did you think he could make an impact right away as a rookie?
You know, we really liked him. Overall, our entire staff, coaching, scouting, we had him way up there on our board. You know, we have a top 120 board that we rank all the players on the draft board. After we get it all said, then we just take the 120 guys that we think could make our team, that are worth drafting, and we had him way up there. So, yes, as a staff collectively, we thought that there was a chance. I can't say that we thought, okay, he's going to come in and he's going to make the impact this quickly, but we knew that at some point it was going to come. But, you know, he's come along a little quicker than we thought, but he still has unlimited potential. He's a great player.
Jason, it's so important in scouting, you know, when you talk about building your draft board for your specific team. I think people don't understand on the outside that you're not just ranking the players, you know, 1 through 200. They're how they fit with your squad. How important is it with your relationship with Lovie to get together and to know what a Tampa Bay defender looks like in this scheme and how that's helped you with a guy like Quan Alexander?
It's invaluable. You can't do it without the two sides, coaching and scouting, working together. And we have a great group here, open door policy. I mean, scouts are treated like coaches, and you know, a lot of places that's not the case. And so we know exactly what these guys want in their players, and we have to give them what they want in terms of them telling us what the traits that they look for in certain players in certain positions, every position. If we don't give them the types of players that they want to play with, then the players fall off the wayside and they die on the vine. So we do a great job here of curtailing our draft board to fit the types of players that our coaches want to play with.
You know, Jason, in talking about the kind of traits that your coaches want to play with, franchise quarterbacks are always tough to evaluate, tough to find. It appears that you've hit on one in Jameis Winston. What were some of the traits that really led you to take Jameis as your guy, and how has he progressed during the first part of the season?
Well, his progression has been it's fun to watch. That's a terrible word to use. It's so exciting that everybody here in the building feels it. He's a winner. He's a natural leader. He's incredibly smart. One of the smartest young quarterbacks, maybe the smartest young quarterback at this stage I've been around, and the hardest worker on the team. The team already knows that this is the leader. So those were the things we're looking for, in addition to be able to throw the ball and identify defenses, change the play. But he's doing some veteran things out there on the field right now that you rarely see a rookie do, in terms of just flipping the formation, changing the call, changing the play, being aware of the play clock, all those kind of things that you expect that a good veteran does, he's already doing. So the sky's the limit with this guy as well.
Tell us something behind the scenes there, Jason. We see the progression with our own eyes on the tape when you watch him on an NFL field. But what's going on behind the scenes with Jameis in terms of maybe the hours he's put in or what he's given you off the field that we don't know about just by watching him play on Sundays?
Well, he's the first one in. Typically, it seems like multiple times a week somebody will come, stop by my office and say, hey, you know what, I came in a little extra early today to get a workout or whatever it was at 5:30, and Jameis was here already, or I'll see it myself. The guy is he doesn't advertise it. It's just natural to him. He just wants to get every edge that he can, like the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's. He's already got that. I've seen him chew out the scout team, defenders, for not giving him the right look. And then I've seen him also go apologize to him, saying, hey, I watched the tape. You actually are giving me the right look. So he's got a veteran moxie to him that we could see in the evaluation process. That's why we honed in on him, and that's why we zeroed in, and that's why I really probably wouldn't have traded that first overall pick for anything, because it's hard to find these guys, like you said.
And one of the things that you're trying to do with a young quarterback is surround them with the right pieces. And you already have some veteran playmakers on the outside, but you went in the draft and got a couple of offensive linemen in Donovan Smith and Ali Marpet to play around him. How are your young offensive linemen doing? How are they progressing?
Well, they're both playing great. Ali, in particular, is just like we said, we were a little impressed with Quan as quickly as he's come around. I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that Ali Marpet would be starting and playing at this level this quickly when a year ago he was getting ready to play Merchant Marine or whatever.
I watched that tape, Jason. I watched that tape.
So did I. He played well in that game.
Scrappy bunch, though, the Merchant Marines.
And then you guys, it goes without saying just how tough it is to play left tackle in the league. And the left tackle usually gets scrutinized a little and critiqued more than any other position on that offensive line. And, with that said, Donovan is getting better and better. He probably played his best game yesterday, and he is playing like a starting left tackle in the league, and that's all we can ask right now. But he's getting better and better, which is good to see. The coaches have done a fantastic job with inserting two rookies and then a journeyman that was on the street right tackle and a journeyman that was on the street offensive center that make up, along with Logan Mankins, that make up our starting offensive line, and they've been playing really, really well. That's a tribute to George Warhop and Butch Berry, our assistant O-line coach.
Well, Jason, I appreciate you spending some time with us. One last question as I let you go. I know how many hours you talked about, the amount of money and the amount of hours spent in the run-up to the draft and doing all your homework there on Jameis Winston. I just want to know if you can admit to it. I don't know if you admit to it or not, but that the Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota specific podcast we did here on Move the Sticks, if that was a part of the evaluation and the news gathering process, is all I'm asking.
You know what? I'll admit to a lot of things, and I'll always own up to yes. To make a long story short, yes, it was part of it. I will admit it was.
There we go. I just want that on the record.
Little credit, DJ.
Hey, so far so good. The draft class looks great. The football team's improved. And thanks for stopping by. Wish you the best of luck the rest of the season.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks, Jason.